Welcome to Engineering Out Loud, sixth episode of our series from MECHESOL's MESP Management Development Program, titled Leadership, Ethics, and Project Sustainability.
Hello. Great to be diving into this.
Yeah, today we're taking a fascinating journey into how leadership, ethics, and sustainability all kind of weave together in engineering project management.
And we're drawing insights directly from the MECHESOL MESP Management Development Program materials.
That's right, MESP, focusing on management, engineering, strategy, and projects. So we'll explore, what makes a great leader on an engineering project.
And also the core ethical principles that should guide decisions.
And of course, why building sustainable projects is just so critical now.
Absolutely essential.
And just a quick note for you listening: to discover how the MESP program can help you master these areas, you can apply, register, or visit mechesolco.com/CPD.
Definitely worth checking out.
So let's kick off with leadership. I always think leading an engineering project team feels, unique. You often have these diverse experts, sometimes only together for the project itself. How different is that from, say, managing a more permanent team?
Oh, that's a really key distinction. The temporary nature, the diverse skill sets, it creates a very dynamic environment.
Right.
Unlike a stable operational role where routines might be more established, projects demand leaders who can quickly build cohesion and direction with a group that might be entirely new, sometimes across different companies even.
Exactly. You might have a structural expert, a software guru, an environmental scientist,
Yeah.
all needing to sync up fast.
So what are some practical techniques engineers can use to lead these kinds of teams effectively?
Well, the program highlights a few really practical things. One is actively appreciating and rewarding positive behaviors.
So like acknowledging good work.
Yes, precisely. Even small acknowledgments can seriously boost morale and reinforce what you want to see more of.
Okay, makes sense. Another big one is providing growth opportunities. Projects are natural learning labs, right? A good leader helps team members see and grab those chances to develop new skills.
So using the project itself for development.
Exactly. And tied to that is coaching and mentoring. Sharing your own experience, guiding team members, it strengthens them and the whole team's capability.
These sound fundamental, but how do they play out differently in that project pressure cooker environment? Deadlines, unexpected issues.
Good question. Think about delegation. It's not just offloading tasks. Empowering team members by delegating meaningful responsibility shows trust, it builds ownership.
Right, gets them invested.
And building that cohesive, responsible team, that's crucial when inevitably challenges pop up. Also, showing empathy, understanding different perspectives, the pressures people are under.
Empathy seems especially vital with diverse teams, different backgrounds, different priorities maybe.
Absolutely critical, and sort of linked to that is self-awareness. Recognizing your own biases, how your actions land, that's key for fair leadership.
Okay, so empathy outwards, awareness inwards.
You got it. Then there's managing change. Projects always change, so adaptability is huge. Negotiating conflict, whether internal or external, that's another core skill.
Can't avoid conflict sometimes.
Boom. And finally, adapting your communication. You need to talk tech with engineers, high-level progress with stakeholders. Tailoring that message is vital.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot to juggle. Okay, let's shift gears slightly to ethics in project management. How does this connect?
It's actually deeply connected. The program points out that while you have formal codes, like from PMI or engineering bodies, many core project management principles themselves are inherently ethical guides.
Interesting. So the principles guide ethical behavior. Can you give an example?
Sure. Take the principle of being a diligent, respectful, and caring steward. Ethically, this means using resources wisely, being transparent with funds, acting in the project's best interest, not your own gain.
Okay, stewardship as an ethical practice.
Exactly. Or creating a collaborative team environment. Ethically, that means respect, valuing contributions, ensuring psychological safety so people speak up.
Right, fostering that open culture.
And effectively engaging stakeholders. That's got a big ethical piece too. It means being honest, transparent, managing expectations fairly, considering all those different interests.
So these aren't just nice to haves. They're fundamental to ethical project delivery.
Absolutely. And these principles came from input from project managers all over the world, from all sorts of backgrounds. They reflect a global understanding of good ethical practice.
That grounding makes them pretty powerful. Now let's talk sustainability. It's everywhere now. But what does project sustainability really mean in an engineering context?
Good question. It's basically about looking beyond just delivering the project on time and budget. It's considering the long-term impacts, environmental, societal, even economic viability over the project's entire life.
The whole life cycle.
Precisely. Designing and building in a way that minimizes harm and maximizes benefit for the future too, not just for today.
Okay, so how do engineers actually integrate that? What are the practical steps?
The program outlines several key areas. One is that life cycle analysis you just mentioned,
Right.
looking at everything from resource extraction, manufacturing, transport, construction, operation, all the way to decommissioning and disposal. Understanding that full footprint.
So you know where the biggest impacts are.
Exactly. Then you can focus on resource optimization, using materials efficiently, choosing recycled or recyclable options, designing to minimize energy use during operation, reducing waste during construction.
Smart design, smart material choices.
Yeah, and responsible sourcing is another big one.
What does that involve?
It means really looking into your suppliers. Are their practices environmentally sound? Are they socially responsible? Think fair labor, ethical sourcing of raw materials. It's about the whole supply chain.
Going beyond just the price tag of materials.
Definitely. Which leads to life cycle costing. This isn't just the upfront cost to build. It includes operating costs, maintenance, disposal. Often, a slightly more expensive sustainable option up front saves a lot more money and environmental costs down the road.
That makes sense. Thinking long-term financially as well as environmentally.
Hmm.
Just pausing here for a second for everyone listening. If you want to dive deeper into how leadership, ethics, and sustainability strategies like these are taught, remember to check out MECHESOL's MESP Management Development Program. You can apply, register, or visit mechesolco.com/CPD.
Yeah, it covers these areas in much more detail.
So we've talked about how to integrate sustainability. What are the actual benefits for engineers and their projects? Why do this?
Well, beyond the obvious crucial benefit of contributing to a more sustainable future,
Which is huge in itself.
absolutely. But there are other tangible benefits too. Cost savings, for one. Resource efficiency, less waste. That often translates directly to the bottom line.
Okay, so it can actually save money.
Often, yes. It also really improves a company's reputation. Clients, investors, even potential employees, they increasingly favor companies that take sustainability seriously.
Good point. It's becoming a differentiator.
For sure. And finally, it often drives innovation. The challenge of finding more sustainable solutions pushes engineers to develop new materials, new processes, new technologies. It can be a real catalyst for creativity.
Cost savings, reputation, innovation, and doing good for the planet. Seems like a powerful
It
combination.
really is. They all reinforce each other.
Okay, this has been a fantastic discussion. To wrap things up for our listeners, what are the key takeaways? If they remember just a few things about leadership, ethics, and sustainability from our chat.
Well, I'd say for leadership, remember it's about appreciating people, providing growth, coaching, but also those core behaviors: empowerment, empathy, self-awareness, managing change, and adapting communication for project settings.
Got it. Active leadership behaviors.
Mhm. For ethics, understand that core project management principles like stewardship, collaboration, stakeholder engagement are your ethical compass. It's about how you manage.
Ethics embedded in the practice.
Exactly. And for sustainability, think life cycle analysis, costing, resource optimization, responsible sourcing. And remember, the benefits go beyond just environment. They include cost, reputation, and innovation.
Excellent summary. So here's a final thought for you to ponder. Considering how interconnected leadership, ethics, and sustainability clearly are, how might your approach to your next project change, even slightly, to create a more positive, lasting impact based on these principles?
That's a great question to reflect on.
And if you want the tools and frameworks to really develop those skills comprehensively, one last reminder: apply, register, or visit mechesolco.com/CPD for MECHESOL's MESP Management Development Program.
It's a valuable resource.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Engineering Out Loud.